So amazing. Could we have the slides maybe on the screen? Then we can get a start. Super. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our session from Salesforce around the future of Salesforce development and a little bit about AI. So my name is Anna, and I lead a solution engineering team at Salesforce for focusing on manufacturing industry. And I have indeed the great honor to share the stage with my fantastic colleague Daan here today, who's leading the technical architects. And both of us are part of the pre-sales engine at Salesforce. And we would like to start to thank you for being here today, for showing up for our session, and for sharing and showing an interest in our products. We're really excited that you're here, and we are very happy to be asked to present a little bit about our company and what we are doing in this space. So thank you for taking time to spend these 30 minutes with us. And Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and we are obliged to show this slide before any presentation. We are an innovative company, and it goes really quickly. So if you're thinking of buying any software from Salesforce, it's important to base your decision on any current available products and features. So that being said, Salesforce is a core or is a value-driven company, and we have 5 core values. And while sustainability, equality, customer success, and innovation is really important, trust is our #1 value. It's embedded in everything that we do, and especially now in the age of AI, this is more important than ever, and it's really something which we take into consideration with everything that we do. And just if there is somebody in the audience here today that might not be so familiar with us as a company, we are a software as a service company. We started back in 1999 with our Sales Cloud product, which was a typical CRM product. After a couple of years, we built it out with service capabilities for after-sales capabilities. Then we went on a little bit of a shopping tour, and we bought some companies enhancing our platform with marketing, commerce, analytics, and integration capabilities. And then back in 2021, Slack joined our family. And we have spent the last 26 building this unified, integrated platform, which our companies and customers that we have are managing their relationships with their customers on. And also, especially for you in the audience, it's also an ecosystem connected to this with low-code tools and pro-code capabilities to build scalable apps. And the way we are looking at software and building software is really changing, right? Really radically at this pace. It used to be, click-based UIs with rule-based logic, that got their data from the transactional database, but it's not the case anymore, right? We are moving much more into conversational UIs with, goal-based agents, and with the rise of lakes, data lakes, and lakehouse patterns, we get much more into a unified data layer. And this is interesting, right? Because it provides us with a fantastic possibility to rethink, the products that we are developing and shipping to our customers. So it's really a really exciting, actually, place to be in. And that's why we are so excited about Agentforce. And if you follow Salesforce, maybe if you are a user or if you have somebody on LinkedIn, I'm sure you did not miss that we launched Agentforce about 4 months ago. And we're really excited about it because this is really our answer to how we will bring digital labor to every business, whether you are a large enterprise or a small company. And this is really, how we see it, like with agents and humans are working seamlessly together to really unlock a lot of more potential, for our customers. It's really a different way for us, and an exciting place to be in. We have been in the business of AI for more than 10 years. So we started actually back in 2014 with an AI research team at Salesforce, and a couple of years later, we launched Einstein, which was one of the first CRM products in an AI context. Then it was more about predictive AI intelligence. We moved into the co-pilots, and now we are welcoming agents to our family. And we have spent the last 26 years, building this unified platform. And for us, this is a perfect opportunity to now launch Agent, because this is what we have sort of spending 26 years, waiting for. And we really believe that, the rise of agents will really enhance, the platform and will unlock a lot of business opportunities for you. And Dan is going to tell you a little bit more in depth about what we do, like from a developer's perspective, and go a little bit more deep.
Thank you, Anna. Is my microphone on? It's on. So nice to meet everyone in the room today. It's my honor to take Anna's story a bit further and look at our platform and basically what that means for developing on this platform. And this slide basically serves as an indication of the size of the platform that we are dealing with by today. And it's just 1 quarter. And if I would like to pick one metric out of here, it's on the bottom left. It's like 276 billion Einstein predictions in a quarter, alongside everything that we do in the realm of CRM, like how we deal with our customers. But it's a global platform that runs on almost every continent, and every innovation that we build needs to be pushed to every continent as well, to every part of the infrastructure. So what does this platform look like? This slide covers a lot. We could speak for an hour about this, but that's not the subject of today's topic. Because today we want to focus on the future of development on this platform. And there's 2 things I want to highlight if we speak about this slide. And the first thing is the unified metadata framework on the bottom side of it. Basically what this means is that everything that our customers do in their tenants on our platform, because this is a multi-tenant platform, is never resulting in a change in our infrastructure whatsoever. Everything is saved as metadata, which means adding a table, adding a column or a field to a table, everything is metadata. Similar thing for configuration changes, etc. That basically decouples our infrastructure from our customers' tenants. It decouples our customers' tenants from their neighbors in the infrastructure. But more importantly, because everything is captured in metadata, this is an enormous pool of information which is really valuable for LLM-supported development, which is what we will talk about in a minute. And then, of course, Anna mentioned it already, the platform itself supports the full scope of development, basically ranging from low-code to no-code development to, on one end of the spectrum, to full-code development on the other end of it. So if we speak about no-code to full-code development, the next slide will touch on what we would call a number of low-code builders, basically drag-and-drop, click-based tooling to develop solutions on the platform. But it also has, for example, Salesforce languages on it. One of the key building blocks of the platform is a programming language called Apex, which is very similar to Java, but is different in a way that it is living in our cloud and is aware of the multi-tenant situation it lives in. So it can basically isolate itself from your neighbors in the platform as well. There's also frameworks that help with UI development, for example. The Lightning Web Component framework is, if you're familiar with Salesforce, is one of those things. And then lately, we've now got the Agentforce Studio. And this is related to the introduction of Agentforce that Anna just mentioned. Agentforce not only being this new agentic layer on top of Salesforce, but then specifically from a development point of view, as we will see in the later part of the presentation, it's the studio where you actually build your agents. Instruct them what to do, and give them the guidelines, the guardrails that they need to adhere to. So it's a spectrum from no-code to full code. So what do we then do in enhancing the developer experience? And this starts with a number of low-code builders. The ones on the bottom are builders that have been in the platform for more than a decade already, but I'd like to focus on the top row. So first, prompt builder. So whenever you write prompts to do something with an LLM, you would preferably like to ground that prompt in data that already exists in Salesforce. And this is what prompt builder allows you to do. So you can ground the prompt, then send the prompt to the LLM of choice. Model builder helps you to connect to your LLM of choice. So it could either be a foundational LLM like OpenAI, but it could also be an LLM that you host yourself and you connect to via an endpoint, and then configure some parameters to fine-tune the performance. The retriever builder has everything to do with RAG, retrieval augmented generation, and a vector database where you basically create custom retrievers that go fetch unstructured data from the database itself, search through that data, and then pre-filter it before you can use that pre-filtered data in your prompt and send it to the LLM for further analysis. And then lastly, it's part of the Agentforce Studio is Agent Builder, where with a bunch of clicks, you basically configure your agent and tell it what to do. So this is on the low-code side of the house. Then to the programmatic side of the house, so where we really write code. There we're now introducing AI-assisted development, I would say. And the first thing is, I'll touch on that in a minute, is with Dev Assistant. Oh, that is not the intention. Let's... what just happened here? We're back. Apologies. Dev Assistant gives us AI assistance during the programmatic development on the platform itself. Important to know here is that the AI assistance is done by 2 LLMs that were homegrown by our research department, and they're called CodeGen and XGen. They play a critical role in anything that we do here with AI assistance. So what does that look like? So Dev Assistant is basically an addition to your integrated development environment. What it does, it will add capabilities like text-to-code generation, code analysis, code explanation, code documentation, code completion, for example, but also test case generation. They're time savers. They're not necessarily unique in the market, but they are important to do so in our platform with our proprietary programming languages as well. And they support both the server side of the house, Apex, as well as client side with the Lightning Web components. That is what Dev Assistant does. So how this works, with an example where we might ask it to create an Apex class for us, in this case with a method to insert a customer and retrieve a customer detail by an ID, for example. This is just a prompt in a way. So using a chat interface in the IDE, we make this work. The first thing that will happen, and this is important, is that the context retrieval will use our RAG technology to access all the metadata that sits in the platform. So by doing this, we will have access to the complete data structure, every configuration that has been saved there, workflows, code snippets that have been saved, and all that context is pulled into account and sent to input prioritization, where it will basically look at the order of questions that were asked, combine it with the input context, make sure it fits within the token budget, and then it's sent to the LLM, which in this case is XGen. XGen will do its work, give you a bit of code. We do some PII detection, data masking on it, do some toxicity scanning, and once the result is there, it's up to you to justify if that's good or not. You do this on an iterative manner until you're satisfied, and then you have a bit of code. And that's how AI-assisted development works with Dev Assistant on Salesforce. And a similar thing actually works with test case generation. Test case generation uses the same technology. It will inspect the Apex code and give you a test case. And what we see at our customer base, but also with our own tests, is like 75% of the test cases that are generated are really sufficient for use. So in terms of time saving, it's a big one, I would like to say. So that's test case generation. But that's not all we do from a development point of view, for example. And I'm going to do this very quickly because we call this sandboxes. And sandboxes are just our equivalent of test environments. There's different types of sandboxes. Close to production, we have a full copy of production. We call that a full copy sandbox. The further we go to the developers' laptops, for example, it will be a developer sandbox or developer pro sandbox. The idea is that in all these stages, you have these sandboxes where we can deploy the exact same development techniques. And this will then also be used in something that will be very familiar to all of you in the room, is a typical DevOps cycle, where basically we combine not only technology, but also process best practices into an approach for the software delivery lifecycle, an application lifecycle management tool or framework for what have you, to make sure that everything you develop will be taken to production in a safe and secure way. There's lots of technology on this screen that I've not had time to talk about and will not have time to talk about, so find me after the session if you have questions. This, however, brings me to the handover back to Anna, because we've already said that software development is changing. It's going to be more conversational. It's going to be more agentic. So for us, that's very important to do so, especially because our platform sits on so much customer data, which is why Anna will now first talk about why data is so relevant for the new way of developing based on LLMs with agents.
Yeah, and Thank you so much, Dan, for that explanation. And it's true, right, that AI needs data and needs to have an understanding about your business to be able to perform good. But you don't actually have to train a model for it. And you shouldn't, because training a model is expensive, right? It's not sustainable, it takes a lot of time and resources. And this is where we're going to flip the script a little bit. And you actually can train, you don't have to train a model, but you can use RAG, or retrieval augmented generation, which Dan was already talking about, to augment the prompt actually, and RAG will search through your structured and unstructured data to find the necessary information it needs, and then augment your prompt, and then via that you can still get value out of the LLM without ever having to train a model. And just like Dan was saying, right, like we are speaking to a lot of businesses and a lot of our customers, and getting really the right data to use AI is tricky, right? It's not really always that easy, because businesses have data separated in silos. So did you know that actually the average enterprise company has more than 1,000 of applications throughout their ecosystem, and the majority of them, actually more than 70%, are disconnected from each other. So you can really say it's it's value that are sitting in places, that it can't be accessed, by the AI. And that's why it's so important to understand on how our data cloud works. Data cloud is built on our platform and is integrated. And here you can connect all these separate data silos to each other, whether there is, for example, other Salesforce orgs like marketing or service, for example, or external applications like SAP or Workday, or your data lakes, but also unstructured data, or there are maybe other applications that you would like to bring into your landscape. With Data Cloud, you can then unify that and make it one unified customer profile or asset profile, whether that is what you would like to see. And based on that, you can actually take actions, whether that is on an application or a workflow, or, for example, an agent. And what is Agentforce then really? So I just wanted to dissect it together with you for the coming couple of minutes. So an Agentforce agent is consisting of 5 attributes. So first of all, it's the role. So what is the job to be done? What is the agent supposed to be doing? The second one is data. So what kind of data does the agent need in order to perform its actions? So what are the actions the agent is supposed to be able to do, to be able to perform? But equally important is what should the agent not be doing. So what are the guardrails that we tell the agent that it shouldn't be able to perform, and maybe then hand over to a human? And in what channel should the agent use? So this might be a little bit of a provocative statement, but it's really the what's underneath the hood for Agentforce, and the philosophy of Salesforce to really be able to via low-code tools to be able to build agents at scales. And there are then 3 different fundamental building blocks of Agentforce. So one is the topics. So what is really the job to be done? It can be order management, it can be repairs. We have these out of the box, but you can also configure them like you wish. We have instructions for the agent in natural language in the builder, which Dan was referring to. And you have the actions. What are the actions that an agent should be able to do? And to dissect it a little bit more, this is how it could look like. So your customer would go to your agent in the channel of your choice in natural language to ask. So for example, what is the status of my order? And then the agent will make a call out to the LLM to understand, okay, which is the topic that my customer is now talking about. So in this case, it's order management. And then the agent will be instructed, also in natural language, about how to behave. This again is out of the box, or to be configured. And then they will call services like, for example, Apex, or any other thing. And then it will ground the data in your business data. And then the agent will provide an answer to your customer. And the brain behind Agentforce is something called the Atlas Reasoning Engine, and this has been built by our AI team, and that is using a React prompting system. So it will then reason with itself and think about, okay, like what is this question that I got? Is this fulfilling a goal or not? And then it will ask the question to the customer until the goal is fulfilled. And it will also ask, in case it needs more information, it will go to the customer and ask so. And what is so cool about the reasoning engine is that it will learn over time. So the more it's being used, the more it will understand, and learn from the word. And this is also built, all on the trusted and secure platform. And we are quite excited about it here at Salesforce. We have seen some tremendous results already after only a couple of months. So I hope you're all a bit excited to learn a bit more about it, because Daan will now tell you on how you can actually learn more about agents and Agentforce and Salesforce.
Thank you, Anna. So if I hear this, so my conclusion, and that's why we call the session also the future of Salesforce development. Let's first say programmatic development will never cease to exist on this platform. But what is definitely going to be the future is building new functionality with human language. And that is what the agentic layer, Agentforce, is all about. You just describe what it needs to do, and it will do so. So if you have an appetite to learn more and get your hands dirty with this, we have a platform called Trailheads. It's a free, sort of gamified online learning platform where you can learn everything about Salesforce from left to right, basically. So Agentforce is key and center there. But besides Trailheads, we also have a Trailblazer community, which is a community where all of the community members across the globe will connect with each other. You can learn relevant skills there, also make connections with your fellow Trailblazers. And we also have one specifically here in the Netherlands, like a user group. So my next slide is going to put 2 QR codes on screen. The left one is a QR code to the community group itself. So if you want to meet up, go there. There's regular meetups organized, and you can subscribe or take part, for example. And the right side is a QR code to their LinkedIn page. So I'll leave that on screen a few seconds for those who want to grab their cameras. But I actually want to close with a call for our next conference. It's unfortunately in San Francisco, so it's going to need a bit of travel for those that would like to go there. But it's our developer conference for the agentic era, and we call this TDX. It's previously called Trailhead X. It's March 5 to 6 in San Francisco again, and it will be really, really technical. So it's nothing to be compared to our big Dreamforce conference where you'll find lots of business tracks. This is just a technical conference where we go into depth, for example, with readiness kits on Agentforce. Just go practice with things yourself. Take that away if you're interested, March 5th and 6th. Which actually, with 2 minutes on the clock, brings me to a closure. So both Anna and myself would really like to thank you all for joining in today's session. We will be available here for questions, but find us outside of the stage if you want to. So thank you all for joining.
Thank you.